je chaje de lo na ro da mar ba mi la je ga bo ba ju sum she ja gun ke karma
2012 was the 20th anniversary of the passing of the third Jamgon Kongtrul, Chökyi Sengye. In 2013, Tibetan Buddhists commemorated the 200th birth anniversary of the first Jamgon Kongtrul, Lodro Thaye, a non-sectarian with far-reaching influence and renowned author of the 5 Great Treasuries. In recollection of the Kongtrul lineage's great contribution and to remind followers how to practice the Dharma properly, the 17th Gyewa Karmapa Ögyen Dorje launched a commemoration of the Jamgon Kongtrul lineage during the 30th Kagyu Minlan in 2012. He taught from 2 texts by the first Jamgon Kongtrul, the commentaries on the 3 primary elements of the path and the Torch of Certainty. The first Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche was born in 1813 on the 10th day of the 10th Tibetan month. He was ordained when he was 3 years old and began studying sutra when he was 8. When he was 30, his root guru, the 9th Thai Sutta Rinpoche, Pama Nyingje Wangpo of Palpung Monastery, Tibet, recognized him as a tulku from Kongpo, and thus he was called Kongtrul. Jamgon means Manjushri protector. He studied with more than 30 teachers from various schools of Tibetan Buddhism and became learned and highly accomplished in the Dharma teachings of 19th century Tibet. He was known particularly for his work, The 5 Great Treasuries, and his role in founding the non-sectarian or Rime movement. The 5 Great Treasuries comprise 5 compendiums in more than 90 volumes: the Treasury of Kagyu Mantra, the Treasury of Precious Termas, the Treasury of Encyclopedic Knowledge, the Treasury of Quintessential Instructions, and the Treasury of Extensive and Uncommon Teachings. They encompass the essence, commentaries and instructions of different Buddhist sects and traditions, as well as the essence of Tibetan knowledge in medicine, astrology and astronomy. Half a century later, when many historical relics were lost during the Cultural Revolution, this masterpiece by Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche became a critical reference for important teachings and Tibetan culture. Thus, his contribution was not just limited to the Kagyu lineage, but extended to all other lineages, the Tibetan people, and even the world, because what he preserved is a profound religious and cultural heritage for everyone. He spent more than half of his life in solitary retreat in the mountains. He composed more than 100 commentaries and accomplished more than 100 practices from both the new and old Tibetan Buddhist schools. Having fully realized the profundity of the secret Vajrayana, he was a lustrous bead in the golden rosary of the Kagyu lineage. In November 1899, at age 87, while absorbed in meditative concentration, he dissolved into Dharmadhatu, thus bringing his meaningful life to a perfect completion.
Jamgon Kongtrul Kunjin Lodro Thaye Kuchung ba tela dense jiri sangi demba yangus pe khanjing jongi demba la nima saba da chi sharche energy ji 주주신的 全部 게 시균디 be 가신 줄을 서베 demba 망부지 기지 demba 냠냐와 다 탐지 냠발 라서 충분지당 안다나신 dembal야베 초의 리수 마제베 에너지 룩상부特别하러 된제다 제삼매도 총지 샤여비 인두산에 나란츠이냐 다가난신기 에네 공간 넘버 타발야베 제수 럽시 demba 타다를 저 추리메베 관에 지 주실람도 개토버치 용아지다 안다나 신지 장군 rinpoche당 안다나 신장 계즈왕보당 다나 조긴 초교 대신을 대 kengochon sum naba sungi enda kuzi go ye chenbyo thwane zuru na shabe ji joshe naba nge zor kyube da wonlong menga da da 탐지 마냥 냠바 메바 아서지 퇴삼 고스um ji gon 대나 펍네 네 가수에 대나 배바다 냠슬네 바제기 고네 에는다 데바지용 배숨 채과디 담바고만함지 거진지 렌슈아 개치슈에로지 레섬 도스탠딩도 도장
The second Jamgon Kongtrul, Pardon Khyentse Osa, was the son of the 15th Karmapa, Kakyap Dorje. In spite of his high birth, he was unpretentious and treated everyone respectfully. He would speak with anyone, whether high or low. He realized that possessions are meaningless, and 3 times he gave away everything he owned. He saw his father, the Karmapa, as an actual Buddha. Through that devotion, he manifested the realization of Mahamudra and subsequently became the root guru of the 16th Karmapa, as well as teacher to many important lineage holders. The third Jamgon Kongtrul, Lodro Chökyi Sengye, was born in Lhasa and recognized by the 16th Karmapa. From a young age, he followed and served as attendant to the Karmapa with great devotion, reminiscent of Ananda who served the Buddha. Rinpoche was a lion amongst humans, fearless and undeterred. He always followed the 16th Karmapa's commands and was committed to guarding the Dharma. He lived at Rinpoche Monastery, the Karmapa's seat in India, and unreservedly taught, led practices and cared for this Karmapa's Sangha. In particular, he was instrumental in the founding and development of the Nalanda Institute for Higher Buddhist Studies, which remains a vital centre of learning at Rinpoche. He always showed love and compassion towards the sick and destitute, founding schools and hospitals to provide free education and medical care. His great kindness was comparable to that of the Dharma king, Drime Kundin. Rinpoche passed away suddenly in a car accident when he was only 38. It seemed a sign of the Dharma's decline in an age of degeneration. In retrospect, if Rinpoche was still alive with us today, there would be no obstacles within the Kagyu lineage. On the 20th anniversary of Rinpoche's Parinirvana, his loving face, soothing voice and noble heart were greatly missed by all. The fourth Jamgon Rinpoche, Lodro Chökyi Nyima, was born in 1995 in Chushur, central Tibet. His birthplace and family were in complete agreement with the pure visions of the 17th Karmapa, who recognized Rinpoche formally in 1996 when he was 8 months old. In 1997, the Dalai Lama officially issued a letter recognizing Rinpoche as the reincarnation of the third Jamgon Kongtrul and performed the hair-cutting ceremony and bestowed names on him. He was also recognized by His Holiness Sakya Trinzin, head of the Sakya lineage, and His Holiness Mindraling Trichin of the Nyingma lineage. In that same year, following supplications by the Sangha and devotees, Rinpoche returned to his main seat in India, Lava Kagyu Tekchen Ling Monastery and Retreat Centre, and his main seat in Nepal, Pulahari Monastery, and officially resumed his important status in the lineage. Currently 18, though still a student at Lava Buddhist Institute, Rinpoche is already involved with the Dharma and the humanitarian activities of the previous Jamgon Rinpoche, demonstrating his extraordinary compassion and wisdom. During breaks from his studies, Rinpoche always makes time to visit both the young and old living at the Jamgon Kongtrul III Memorial Home in Kalimpong, India. When he chats with them and asks how they are, it brings great consolation, particularly to the elderly. Looking after elderly people in need was always the wish of the third Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche. After his passing, his administrative office and many of his disciples fulfilled this wish by founding the Jamgon Kongtrul III Memorial Home and began to look after many homeless and destitute people, both young and old. There are currently more than 100 elderly people and children living in the home. The fourth Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche lived at the home for a year when he was younger and made a deep connection at that time with the elderly in the home. As Rinpoche emphasizes, the organizational structure of the home encourages the young and old to help each other and keep each other company, so that the elderly are not just taken care of in terms of their daily needs and health care. During holidays, when the weather is good, the young people take the elderly who have difficulty walking outside to sit in the sun. They bathe them and cut their nails for them. The joyful atmosphere makes everyone feel part of a real family, and from a young age, the young people learn how to help others. Rinpoche also shows great concern for the students of the Jamgon Kongtrul III Memorial School. Since they usually come from deprived families, Rinpoche makes efforts to understand each individual's situation. He arranges for those in need to stay in the memorial home and provides everything they need. The commemoration of this important master and Dharma son of the Karmapa was held on December 29th and 30th and included 3 elaborate events. On the morning of the first day, the Gyawan Karmapa led the smoke offering, known as Billowing Clouds of Virtue, written by the first Jamgon Kongtrul. Incense rose into the morning sky from 26 white offering kilns, each one paired with a bright flag. The second day, December the 30th, was the main part of the commemoration. At 7:30 in the morning, a procession set out from Turgal Monastery to the pavilion, carrying a sacred statue of Pema Gyalpo, one of the 8 manifestations of Guru Rinpoche. This statue was a terma treasure revealed by the 15th Karmapa and one of the second Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche's most cherished relics. It was the most important support of blessings in the mandala. The Karmapa himself received the statue and placed it in the mandala. The Jamgon Kongtrul Labrang, headed by General Secretary Tenzin Dorje, made offerings. Also in the line was the third Jamgon Kongtrul's younger brother, who held a stupa representing the mind offering.
To the merit of this offering, may all of the donor's aspirations be swiftly fulfilled.
Then the palanquin bore the statue away, bringing the morning program to an end. In the afternoon, Jamgon Rinpoche arrived at the pavilion escorted by representatives of the Kagyu Minlam organization and ascended the exquisite throne, especially prepared by the 17th Karmapa for this, his first ever public teaching. The text, calling the Guru from afar, was written by the first Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche and is widely practiced by all major Tibetan Buddhist schools.
Toma Tribekun Nambatan, Degana Shin, and Quendekage, and Lamada, Givishin Namba, and Degana Shin, and Gizun, Nasum, Nambatan, and Chushu, Pomo, Teden, Number Tangmala, and Toma Ye, and Ning Tabane, and Gagu, Iran, and Batu Mebenga, and Tangmala, Tamdrestele, Shugi. ane ngale na ane dujite me ngada ane pa gewe mongba kama ba gintile wangi to choge ane jamgon kongtru rimjenge ane jede ane gi tusan zego tela ane ngege ane lama jambe gi ti je ane ma mangzo yong la shena ya wo yong sa res ka na wa na shin ti da ane ngarange ane nyamyong tho ne re ane tega na shin ane sheze da kanji jide thone ane shera geba ji shudwe mindude yinaya ane lama kongma namge ane tende la za shimbu zi nange yoban tar tenge tende sunje zamshido ane jitub kangdubji ane shuwe besu chegi ane tegab da zoji ane shayala ane kadambe lama namge karisungur sana ane chilab gi lam ane soldebi yins Sungbare, ane chilab, ane jugbar chebe lamdi, ane soldeb, himbare, teinza, ane soldeb, ane chebe kapsu, ane taye kondu shuba na shin, ane tuksam shene, nang kwayadi, ane kechumba shirachadi gore, mase, ane chilab ki lam soldeb, chilab ki tsawa mugu, mugu ki gyalbo, lama sange su tongwa yin she, ane sungbatar, ane chilab ki lam, ane soldeb de ane chelab gi lamdo ane gyur ma gyur de ane mögül ra legi yobare mögü mangbo yore de yinaya mögü na sangshe de mögü gyalbo de mögü gyalbo lama sangge stongwa yin she suba na tabu ane rangi gi tsawe lama de ane sangge dango yerme do ane yimbar shebe 다가스 몽데기 짬마임버 김제 양다바도 셰베 토네 아니 솔데 균도 아니 굴신 소베 솔데 세바tar 솔데 균도 아니 제거야디 아니 게좀시라 차디도스 레 안다 던제 아니 타마디 아니 투이 찍도 세바디레 데 아니 타마 아니 체가 아니 시디 소아데스 라마rum부지 동웨베도 tin지 최기지 까메 달러에서 켈레미 투이에메 드버 징겔로 세디다 식제 안에 시디게 안에 땡겨요 버려 데 간데레 슈바이나 안에 틴진 최기제 라마rum부체스 동웨 베데 소아데빈스 안에 투 소아뎀네 가 투이에메 드버 징겔라브로나스 김제 안에 깔메 달러 레서 켈레메스 안에 칼바 멤버 다 tomba sangye chumnende ane ngos shu yenjang shal jemetuwa ane sung thoya meba inaya ane tusum sangye thamjige ane chigdu debe rangsu ane rangi lama yimbe chena ane kaba memba dala resa da tesa lama khele mebe jumjala tene ane lame thukda rangi semni yeme driver chinge labro na se da chiga thamashi gi deshe dedabu yimbare 다 라마 장변나네 망보 여레디 이나야 다 개치쉐디 안에 제가 타마시디 임바레 안 단다 곤도시버 대와 데셰 학점 안에 쉬바디 안에 남주 안에 냠레 나운디 안에 고아 약보지게베 토네 안에 나로나 슈기
Rinpoche's dignified bearing and his way of speaking brought many disciples to tears because he sounded so much like the previous Jamgon Rinpoche. It was as if the latter was there in person.
망보 찍라 안에 예 라마 장보 셰토바데 안에 ngaran kabasang shira chungson I think it'll be a bit difficult to say this by Ngudup Tsering because I'll say it to you in English because Ngudup Tsering had translated for previous Jamgon Rinpoche and also has translated for 16 Kamapa. So I'm telling him, thank you very much for translating for me. So it will be great for all of you to applause for him. Thank you.
Following Rinpoche's talk, dignitaries, representatives from monasteries and dharma centers, and devotees formed a long line to make mandala offerings. The third Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche travelled the world, taking the Dharma to North America, Europe and Asia. For this special commemoration, many of his foreign disciples came to Bodh Gaya for the fourth Jamgon Kongtrul's first public teaching, thereby continuing the precious life-to-life connection between the Guru and his disciples. During the teaching, the Gyalwang Karmapa had stayed in an alcove to the side of the stage. to watch this important event for his heart son. Now he walked onto the stage and presented Rinpoche with a special gift, a Dharma hat worn by the first Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche, thereby creating auspicious conditions for the boundlessness of Rinpoche's Dharma activities. At the conclusion of the commemoration, monastics and lay people together chanted, calling the Guru from afar as one voice. The resonant chanting of the assembly embodied the essence of calling the Guru from afar. Bless us, that our minds may blend with yours. Amidst the many great masters who uphold the Buddha Dharma and the lineages of accomplishment, the three previous Jamgon Rinpoches are like the sun and moon among the stars. The current Jamgon Rinpoche, though still young, is highly esteemed for his learning and practice. We believe that he will soon become a contemporary great master and make a vast contribution to Buddhism and the Kagyu lineage.